Good morning. If you're catching this on the replay, what is freedom to you and what freedom looks like for you? Freedom, independence, and how? What was the name of this? I don't forgot the name of this video. And the power to start over? Good morning. Good morning. Freedom, freedom, freedom. What is freedom to you? Is it a mindset? Is it peace? Is it health? Or is it the power to start over? Is that freedom? Is that freedom to you? Good morning, Clayton Price. Good morning. What is freedom to you this morning? Can you hear me good? Honey, sidebar. I didn't sit up here and came out the house with this on, and it's 64 degrees up here. Okay, awesome, awesome. Good morning and happy 4th. I don't think we celebrate the 4th because we do what Juneteenth, right? Well, what is freedom to you? What is freedom? What does freedom mean to you? I put it in the post. So, what does freedom actually mean to you? For me, it's all of the above. Freedom to be able to start over. That's freedom to me. Freedom to me is a peace of mind. Because sometimes we can be locked in our heads. That's a jail within itself. That's freedom for me. What's freedom for you? Ooh, come on through. Okay. Being you, being authentically who you are. Just imagine a lot of people that are entrapped because they're afraid to be authentically themselves. And so they feel trapped in the closet or whatever that may be. You know what I mean? That's I like that. That's powerful. Freedom. Hmm. Not ashamed of who you are. That's freedom. I like that too. I like that. I think also for me, freedom means being able to um, speak your mind, be able to articulate yourself in a way that you don't feel lesser than or bound to um, certain thoughts, beliefs, or certain, um, or just anything to where you just can't really express yourself. That's freedom. And there's always a way you can articulate yourself without, um, well, sometimes you're going to offend people, but there's a way of doing everything. I think that's freedom as well. Oh, thank you, Clayton. I appreciate your support and watching my videos. I appreciate that. That means a lot. So here's to you with this cold cup of coffee. I need to go get me some more. I done drunk all my coffee. Freedom, I'm going to tell you something else, Clayton, for me. Freedom for me is being able to move like I want to move, you know? For example, when I was punching a clock, I didn't have the freedom that I have now being an entrepreneur. I didn't have the freedom. I think now I feel free to be able to move and shake like I want to, you know? Yeah, that part. Um, I think what I was just saying, that's personal freedom for me. That's personal freedom. Being able to move because when I took my vacation, before I took my vacation, I was in New York. I was in New York and I was walking my dog early in the morning. I went live on Facebook and I was like, every year around this time, I always come up to New York. And at one point, I was working at Great Clips, Virginia, Virginia Clayton. And at one point, I was working at Great Clips. No shade to them, because let me tell you something, working for them allowed me the opportunity to connect the dots when I wasn't able to. So, right, I worked for them. And when it was time for me to ask for time off, it was more or less like, and I get that the managers, they have a job to do. I get that. But when they start to try to manipulate, well, not manipulate, or try to use their position to control you, that's where I have a problem. So I didn't have the freedom of shaking and moving like I want to. It's more or less like they wanted you to beg or talk extra nice just to get time off. And I wasn't free in that moment punching somebody else's clock. And I said in my video, it feels good, and I'm not shading nobody that works, but it feels good to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to take a vacation. And yeah, I'm not opening up my shop for the next 7 days or 14 days. It feels good to be able to do that without someone saying, I don't know if I can let you off, or because I had asked, well, if I get one of the other stylists to work in my place, could we just work around the schedule like that? Oh no, we don't do that. But let me just say this on the sidebar. I said to myself, now I know I need this job, but I also know I come to New York now. You don't give me the time off. I'm just gonna have to quit. Not that I have it like that, but that was just my mindset. Because you know what? As long as I got my hands, I got my gift. I can always cut hair. Might not be a great place, but it'll be somewhere. But that was my mindset. But so to me, like I said, I didn't have the freedom to move like I'm moving now. And even when I worked at Goodyear, you had to save up your time, your vacation days in order to take a vacation. Um, but yeah, that's freedom for me. Um, so let me see. Clayton Royce says, I hear you, Queen. I seen a video labeled Baltimore. Do you ever come here? I have. Yes, I have. I done been to the harbor, honey. I done been to Baltimore. I done been to, honey, I was scared as hell up there. I ain't gonna lie, Clayton. Where was I at? Where's that place called where it's like I think it's I think it's called the Harbor. Got a lot of restaurants, and it's around like a Bay Area almost, like nice restaurants there. I think it was the Harbor. People sitting out and just enjoy. I think it was the Harbor. I really enjoyed it. I went to the casino there. Was it Five Live or Money Live, or I can't remember the name of the casino. But let me tell you something real quickly. This particular time when I went with the church, and I wasn't gonna go. And oh my God, that's been like 10 years ago since I've been to Baltimore. Just to, and I last year I went there to the airport, but just to go and just go to the harbor and the casino stuff. It's been about 10 years. But when I went, I wasn't gonna go. But honey, the preacher asked me, and then members of the church said, "Big y'all, come on and go," because it was a convention. And this is just a sidebar from talking about freedom. But anyway, I said, being transparent, just being me. I said, "Look, Pastor, you don't want me to go with you to Baltimore to the church convention." He said, "Yes, we do. You're so much fun. Everybody wants you to go." The people in the church said, "Come on, Sister Veronica. Come on, Sister B. Come on, go with us up there." I was like, "I'm going to tell y'all right now. I'm going to go. But at nighttime, baby, I'm going straight to the casino." They said, "Sister Veronica." I said, "Sister Veronica, my foot. If I'm going to Baltimore, I'm going to hit that casino. Because I know I can make me a little change while I'm up there. And I got to give an offering too." Yeah, they thought I was joking. I wasn't joking. And I went to the convention. Juanita Bynum was there. Um, what is his name? Marvin Sapp. All them people was there. Honey, they had their little meeting and everything. Everybody being, I prayed and worshiped God and everything. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. And after it was over with, I said, okay, God, go with me right to the casino. And won. Indeed. Ain't no shame in my game. Good morning, time. Oh, okay. Baltimore is a cool place. You just have to be safe. Yes, the harbor's. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where I went, honey. And heard gun. Hmm. Hi, comedian. Yeah, you know what? My thing too about that, this is no sidebar. Look, I don't try to impress men because at the end of the day, God sees all and He knows all. So why should I try to act like I wasn't gonna go to the casino because the pastor was sitting there? And I do know it's a thing about respect too, but I respectfully told him I'm going to the casino tonight. I won't be at the little youth praise tonight. I'm going straight to the casino. And look, and when I went, one of the girls said, hey, did you go to the casino last night? I was like, hell yeah, I went. Praise be to God. She said, did you win? I said, and look, pull my money in. And I said, what? Who? She said, girl, you go back tonight, let me go. Mm. But yeah. Oh, and the seafood, Clayton, is amazing. I love the seafood there. At some point, I probably will go back. At some point, I will go back. Time, it's definitely helped for me. Your discernment, consistency, play discipline is the key to life, and health is your true wealth. Oh my God, that's another good one. You are absolutely right because I think it's Steve Jobs said before he passed away, he got all this money, but his health. I'm rich in finances, but poor in health. You don't have health. What do you have? You don't have the freedom to do nothing. So health definitely is your wealth. And for me, on the pole, I say all of it is freedom to me. Peace. If you've never been in a situation to where you don't have a peace of mind, honey, you locked up right there. Things just constantly going and you're not at peace. Even falling asleep, you can't even rest because you're not at peace. Health, that's freedom right there. The power to start over again. That's freedom right there. Come on, somebody. Yes, that's freedom. What is this poll? So let's see what these people saying in this poll. Um, what does freedom mean to you right now? 33% says peace. Peace surpasses all understanding. Good morning, Darlene. Good morning. 0% says starting over. And 50% says health. Well, health and peace, that's freedom. Y'all don't think time is freedom? Time is a valuable resource that we can never get back. A lot of people say, don't be playing with my time. Mm-hmm. Time says, stay blessed and balanced in life. God bless. Thank you, Time. Are you leaving? Listen, have a wonderful 4th if you're leaving. Everybody have a wonderful 4th of July today. I got up this morning. I was tired. I was late last night, working on some stuff for my channel. And I didn't get to bed till maybe about 2 o'clock. I said, I'm still getting up. I'm still getting up. Clayton, so the only thing we're going to do today is, honey, cook on this makeshift. Well, it ain't a makeshift grill. The house that we're staying at, they got one of them old school grills. But you know what? I'm from the country. I can make it do what it do. We're gonna grill out. We're gonna throw some stuff on the grill, and guess what? If the grill can't go, let me tell you what we did the other night. So here's the thing. So my son was like, "Hey, let's throw something on the grill." I'm like, "Okay." And he said, "Like, go get some charcoal." So I go to the store get some charcoal. I wasn't thinking. And I said, "Do this need lighter fluid?" And I'm looking, and then the guy said, "No, it don't. It just says just light it up." Hun, how I should have got some lighter fluid. I should have got some lighter fluid because the cold Jeremy was like, "Mom, I am so sorry that this thing ain't really working." And I thought I should have got some lighter fluid to put them coals on there for them to get good and hot. But let me tell you something. When you're from the country, you make shift and make it do what it do. And I done put some little, I done pop boiled some chicken legs because they're not expensive. And pop boiled some chicken legs because the cast was over there, and threw them on the grill. Looked like it took them forever to get done. But honey, how about I turn that stove on? Saute some asparagus, What else did we have? Oh man, I can't even think of everything we had. But honey, they said, "Oh my God, Mama V, this was so good." I mean, look, King George said the best: one monkey don't stop the show. So today, I'm gonna make sure I get some lighter fluid. Mm. You know, young kids today, they more or less like, "Oh no, mm-mm." It ain't no "oh no," because I'm a country girl. Man, I will put some rocks in a circle and go in the woods and get some twigs and make a good campfire and cook on top of that. Don't play with me. Happy 4th to you too, beautiful. Tom says it's crazy that we celebrate the 4th and we don't understand that the Haitians helped America fight for their independence, but they turned them. Let me see, but they turn them away every time they come over here. Oh wow! I met a guy that was giving me the rundown on that. But you know, we really don't celebrate the 4th anymore because why? We celebrate Juneteenth. That's our 4th. And honey, did y'all see where on Juneteenth they had the Alabama brawl up? They put that up. Mm-mm. Tom says, "No, I'm still here, Miss Veronica. Okay, you are always dropping gems. I don't want to miss that one word." Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. But yeah, we celebrate Juneteenth. That's what we do. But it's a blessing to have freedom in any area of your life that you feel dim to be free, right? It, I say, starting over, that's freedom. The the strength to be able to say, you know what, for me, 55 years old, starting over again, that's freedom because I don't feel like I'm stuck. I don't feel like my life is over. I don't feel like because I'm a certain age that life ends here. Mm-mm, mm-mm. That's freedom. Freedom to be able to when you can express yourself. I think somebody said that a little bit earlier. That's freedom too. You know, live life YOLO. You know, you only live once. That's freedom. Being able to dance like no one is watching, express yourself, and I mean that's freedom because sometimes we get so caught up in what society thinks or we get caught up into what our friends or family may think. Who cares? Who cares? Literally, who cares? Darlene says, I don't celebrate the 4th. It's Juneteenth. I'm celebrating today, the whole month of June to July. Okay. Yes. I'll be 56 in September. And it is truly a blessing. It is true. And it's how you choose to use it, too. Hmm? Yeah. It's how you choose to use it. But just think about the people, everybody's, here celebrating the 4th, they're having a parade today. But just think about the people that are really going through the go through at this point. Now, we all are going through something, we're all dealing with something. But just think of the people. Um, Thank you, Clayton. Good morning, LMGYB. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, King. Just think of the people that are on this day where everybody's out getting ready to. I'm looking out there because they're getting ready to do the parade. People are out sitting, drinking. Just think about people that are really in situations to where they're bound on this day today. Just think about that. Even though life be life, and I'm blessed to be on this side of it, and we should think about the people and whisper a prayer for someone that's going through something, who knows what it is. I saw on my timeline to where this family went on vacation. God be with the mother, Jesus. It was 5 of them. 4 of them died. They was in a car accident. Um, Four of them lost their life, and the mother's fighting for her life. God knows my heart goes out to them. My nephew, and I'm just sitting here thinking because we're so blessed, right? My nephew, I told you the other week, was a FedEx truck hit him and his girlfriend head on, and she's fighting for her life. You know. Mm, 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 mm. Ooh, stop it, Tom. Don't do this to me. Smoked Cornish hens, grilled beef, oxtail ham, prime rib, ginger, garlic red, and yellowtail snapper. Oh my God, with all Big Mama side dishes that will make you smack them. Ooh, that sounds good. Oh my God, what time should I show up? Mm, greens and corn. What time should I show up? I know rest my mom and my dad. So, honey, this time of the year, and when we are, mom, let me tell you something. She had that potato salad. This is what my mom's cookouts look like. You know, everybody want to do the hot dogs, the grill. Mm-mm. My mom's cookout was just a soul food get together. We were like, Mom, we're gonna have a cookout for the boys. She's like, yeah, man. She started cooking greens, turnip greens, potato salad, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, baked chicken, baked beans, a Sunday meal, corn. We was like, Mom, she's like, don't nobody want to eat all them hot dogs. No, we're gonna have some greens and some cornbread and some macaroni and cheese and some baked chicken and fried chicken and that's what my mom's cookouts were for the four. Now, when we were kids, you know, they would take us to like Ferry Stone Park, and that's just like a big old lake. And then they would pack hot dogs, and you know, they would have the little sheds. Come on, can somebody remember that? They have the sheds, and we get up under the sheds, and we go play in the water. Now, mind you, now we ain't have it like that to where when we went to Fairstone Park, we had extra money to ride the horses or extra money to get in the canoes and couldn't. No, they said, look, we're gonna stop back at Kentucky Fried Chicken and picked up a bucket of chicken. That's when Kentucky Fried Chicken was chicken. And we picked up a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and some of the fixings. And then we got the sweet potato. I mean, we got the potato salad, and we got the we got the bread, and then we got the greens. And y'all go on out there and play in that water and come back here around about 12 o'clock so y'all can eat and get on look and get on back out there and play. That's what Fairstone Park looked like. Mm-hmm. Darlene, tell him, why don't he? Because I'm telling you, that sounds so good to me. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yes, Darlene, that was old school right there. And the neighbors would get together. Listen, I'm gonna go back a little bit further, and I bet y'all don't know nothing about this. Them old big black kettles. They would make a fire. They would have it like it's almost like a witch's brewery type of thing. They would have the big kettle, and a big stick in between it, like standing between like these makeshift stands. Have a fire going, and then they done drop some grease in there. And listen, they done fried. They was frying fish and chicken in that grease, sitting outside. Look, in old car seats. We had no business sitting outside in old car seats. Then we have a blanket, and we lay the blanket on the ground. Who know about that? And listen, we didn't have no trampolines either. But guess what they would do? We were small kids. They would take one of those because you know back in the day they had them quilts. They take the quilts. You had four people on each, one person on each corner, and then one person would get inside the quilt, and each person would hold it and throw you up in the air and catch you. I bet y'all don't know nothing about that. That's that old school trampoline with them blankets. Yes. That's the summertime. They're on the side of the woods. I mean, listen. I wish I had a picture to show y'all. Where they have an old car seat, people sitting on the car seat. They had them Coke 45s. Mm-hmm. Tom says, good morning, Da Dizzle 32. Good morning. I definitely don't celebrate the 4th. Just blessed and wonderful Friday and weekend and always stay connected to God. Enjoy your family and loved ones. This is what time is valuable. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. But yes, honey, those were the good old days. That was freedom. And you know what? I can take it back further than that. Do y'all remember when everything was closed on Sundays? And Sunday was the time you talk about time is valuable. Sunday was when you spent time with your family and friends. And I can remember when companies they didn't have these 12-hour shifts. They only had 8-hour shifts. You working? Good morning. Thank you. I hear that. Yeah, back in the day, they only had 8-hour shifts, 7 to 3, 8 to 4, and after that you go home and be with your family. I remember when they started voting on wanting to change the times to where people can be on night shift or the mad dog shifts. I remember all of that. I remember when they here in Virginia when they was voting for stores to sell alcohol on Sundays. You know, it was them country stores that would be open, but everything else was closed, and you better get it done during the week. Mm-hmm. Family time. But how often do we have family time now? People don't really sit at the table and eat together as a family. You got one person in there in the living room eating and another person. You know, I'm guilty of it. It's all about money. Sure, sure, it really is. Oh, sorry. How about I put it down like that? Thank you. But yeah, we're a society where we've lost the sense of unionship when it comes to family. You know, family don't get together like back in the day. And I don't even know why we're going talking on this subject this morning, but it's good to know just to revisit and reminisce. Back in the day on weekends, we would go to whose house? Big Mom's. How many of y'all got a big mom? Well, I had a big mom. That was my daddy's mother's mother. And the house we were staying it reminds me so much of my great grandmother's house. It was a big old house, and every Sunday, well, from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's where all the kids came. Well, their children came and brought their children. Me and my cousins, we was always playing, making mud pies and running to the stove because the stove was just right up the street. And mom and my dad, they grown people be on one side, and sometimes the women will be picking string beans or just doing something together. Devices are put away in your house. I don't even watch TV like that. And you know, I told y'all before, it gets on my nerve when I see my grandkids watching too much TV. Because first thing I said, what are you learning? If you can't get nothing, go get a book. They so tired of me telling them to read. But honey, they'll be thanking me when they get older because once it's up here, they ain't going. Can't nobody take it away from you. Good morning, LA Reid. You got that right. You got that right. Um, and that's why I listen during Christmas time. I don't remember the dates and stuff like that, but I do remember, honey, when Mama and them was buying stuff before Christmas and putting it up. And don't y'all touch this. Tom said that was the importance of Big Mama. She made sure Pops were at the dinner table on Sunday and the Pop spent time with his family and enjoy the fruits of his labor, which was his family. Absolutely. I can't. I'm telling you, darling, I totally agree with you. And you know what else, Tom? My dad told me when they were kids, they weren't allowed to eat until the grown-ups ate. Or they weren't allowed to eat like if the preacher came by, he would eat, and then they would feed the kids. You know, that done something to my dad because out of all my entire life, my daddy, to the day he passed, he would not eat until his kids ate. He said he ain't believing that shit. So what do you mean to let somebody sit at the table and eat before my kids eat? So that I think that was traumatic for my dad because he would make sure that before he come to the table, he made sure that it was four of us in my family, four kids. Um, Mom would fix his plate, and then she would fix our plate, and we sit down, and we done sat at the table. Then he'd come in there and he'd sit down. He never came in there and sat first. Never, never. And I'm the same way with my kids. I'm just gonna be honest. I ain't look. My kids gotta eat. I know the preacher got up and preached one time. They said the reason why they did that because the man, he was the head and he got out and worked and he needed his food for his strength. That was at old school, but I was like, my daddy, my kids gonna eat. I'm gonna make it do what it did. My kids gonna eat. And at some point in time, I was, when things was really hard for me. Look, don't worry about me eating. Y'all go ahead and eat. That's right. Tom says yes. Till today, my sisters will make sure I eat. Play when you can. Call me and ask me, did I eat today? They will take care of their husbands and then they will come look for their brother. Okay, now, right. As well as that's right. That's right. And that's one thing my daddy had told us too. He says, whatever you do, y'all always stick together. Always stick together. And I find myself, um, if I get some, I'm gonna get extra just in case my brothers need a little something. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do. That's how you're supposed to do. And this generation is something totally different. Totally different. And I agree with that, Reed. I definitely agree with that. That's how um, all these rules and stuff have changed, and I think we live in a powder puff society now because kids are so weak, and they get overwhelmed and all this foolishness. My granddaughter said one time, I said, "What is wrong with you?" I'm stressed out over what? They think I'm insensitive. Now, I can tell you something to be stressed out about, but you ain't stressed, man. Get your stuff together and go to school. Too grown. Clay, honey, I need to get back. And those my grandkids should be getting up in a little bit and fix them some breakfast this morning. They off today. Excuse me. Yesterday was a long, drawn out day. But they like eating oatmeal with their pancakes. And that's another thing too. Um, when I first started fixing them oatmeal, they was like, "We don't like that's listen, you get hungry enough, you eat it. I'm gonna cook it. It's gonna sit here on the stove. I ain't fixing nothing else. Y'all gonna eat these pancakes and this oatmeal." And now they love it. Talking about some, we want some hi fashala. Hello. Tom says I lived in a different world. The world today than where is it from when you come from? Yes, it is so sad. Big mamas are gone. Now grandmothers want to be vivified too, all alone and confused with what is a sticky BBA. Look, Tom, you know what I think. I'm gonna just take this back a little bit, okay? So hold on a minute, stinky BBL. Look, it's stinky BBLs. You know what? They have washing. That's what that is. That's why it stink. Cause they ain't opening them cheeks up and getting behind there, getting that funk. And always someone wanna twerk and flop and flip and gyrate all over. Wash your get in there. Get in there. Yeah, yeah. Get in there. Everybody want to be so move so quick and fast. You have washers, sis. Open it up. That rag up in there. That's what they have washing. That's what that's all about. Um, But now, me personally, because I'm free spirited, young at heart. Now, I don't see nothing wrong with looking good and sexy, being a nana or grandma. Now, that's just me. Now, I ain't gonna look old before my time. And then, too, why should you look old? But I get what you're saying. Sometimes people dress in a way that's not. Mm, you can tell at some point in their life they went through some stuff and they just still trying to, you know, keep up with these youngins. But my thing is, I don't ever want to look my age, and I think these younger people today, like I said, they half wash, um, they move so quick, and look a hot mess. Let me see. I'm old school grandmother care less about the BBL. And I'm gonna tell y'all this too, and now I'm guilty of it because I said this month I'm getting back into it. We don't take care of ourselves. Like, a lot of the older people, older women, they don't work out, they don't walk, they don't do any of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can look a certain way, um, simply by taking care of yourself, watching what you eat. A lot of people get so complacent to where they just want to eat and sit down and just eat whatever's put before them and not eat in moderation. Just because you're a granny, you ain't gotta look like an old woman. Um, LA Reid says, I have 4 daughters and they know not to treat people wrong and value their time. That's exactly right. You have to teach that. But Shalaya says, thank you for speaking on making it make sense. Uh huh. Darlene, LOL. LA Reid said, you can't watch it. You about to squat? Look, let me tell y'all something. There's no excuse. There is no excuse. They got this thing. What do you call the things you pick up? Steve Harvey said, if he had to use one of those things that you pick up, like if you can't reach it, he said, this big guy one time, so big, his hand was CIA watch. He was like, he would take one of those things and put the tissue on it and just keep squatting till he got himself clean. But there, again, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Good morning, Jonathan. In order to love yourself, you have to put the work into yourself. I see Nicole Murphy. I believe she is 50 something years old and she works out. What's the meaning of loving yourself in real time? Um, Listen, to me, to answer your question, loving yourself in real time is doing what's best for you, setting boundaries, um, watch what you eat, how much you eat, because we only have one vessel, right? That's loving yourself. When you can love yourself and say, I'm setting boundaries, I'm eating like I'm supposed to, I'm drinking my water, minding my business. I mean, to me, do y'all agree or no? Um, Tom says, if y'all ever seen Jada Pinkett Smith's mother, she looks amazing. And here's the thing, that woman don't even look like nothing she's been through. She used to be a heroin addict, and she looks amazing. And she said she's recovering every day. Mhm. I'll keep saying it to listen. Hi, Jeffrey. No excuses, none whatsoever. Listen, I even tell my grandson, put that foot on the side of that tub. Get all of that. You ain't walk around me smelling. Self care. And I tell you also, self love is it's taking care of your mental as well. Mm-hmm. Pat LaBelle do look good. You're taking care of your mental, having mental breaks, the way you definitely take care of you. Because sometimes people can just run you raggedy or things or situations, right? So yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, I love that. When you learn who you are, life gets easier. I agree. And would you agree to say in learning who you are is finding your purpose here too? Would you put those together, knowing who you are? Because I can say for me, I'm just literally figuring out what my purpose is in life, and being okay with me, you know, not worried about what people say or how they feel, you know, because a lot of people's not going to agree or say, "Oh, that ain't your call," and how you know. Years ago, I already told my cousin what I felt like my calling was, and she looked at me and laughed and said, "Yeah, right." And I was just like, "Oh wow, well if she don't see it, then it must not be so." And that hindered me. That hindered me. When you know what your purpose is and your calling in your life, like you need to walk in it. Oh, you wouldn't? Oh, you don't agree with that? When you learn who you are, life gets easier. I don't want to disagree with that. I think learning who you are is still, well, learning who you are and knowing your purpose. You got to know who you are in order to fulfill your purpose too, right? Times as Big Mama would have told her grown adult granddaughter, get your house and go clean something before I put this belt to your ass fast ass. Okay, Tom, you on it this morning. And you right. Let me tell you, my mom, she never had to, once she showed me what to do and how to do it, I was good. But boys is different. Feet stinking. My mama used to tell my brothers, get in there and take a bath, walk around here smelling. Oh God. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Where am I at on my notes? Okay. Um. Okay. Let me see. The purpose to make sure you're okay. Okay. Ellery said your purpose in life is to make sure you complete yourself. So no. Okay. Once was a people pleaser. Let me see. Rochelle says, I agree. Let me see. No, no, no. Tom says, I seen you eat bok choy. I don't know to how many women that eat bok choy, Swiss chard, or little kale, Disney age women don't even know how to cook quinoa. These respect to everybody in the chat. I don't celebrate 4th, but had a blessed and wonderful Friday today and weekend. As my grandfather used to say, tell Jesus, say amen, amen, amen. But yeah, speaking of these young kids not knowing how to cook, honey, I teach my grandkids now. I keep teaching my grandkids now. Listen, I'm gonna show you how to season. Get some seasoning down. My granddaughter said, "How much do you know, honey?" You would know. Listen, I'm gonna teach you the old school. We're not using no measuring cups. Cook with love. If you put too much in it, you'll know the next time you won't put that much. If you don't put enough, so the next time you learn. I think that's a little rough right there, but that's exactly right. My eyes are dry. Fashallah. Well, we definitely got to keep it real. Let me see. Hi, Terrifier. My purpose in life. My purpose in life is to inspire, uplift, and encourage other people. I feel like that I have a tribe of people that is predestined, that God has ordained for me to connect with. I feel like everything that I went through was for such a time as now to walk boldly in being. And I'm just gonna say, and I don't even know if this is the right name or whatever, but as a life coach, inspiration, motivational speaker. Because at one point I used to be, knew in my heart that I was supposed to be walking in that lane, but I just know that's what my calling is. And not only that, it's not to be behind a pulpit because when people sit in my chair, um, yeah. Oh, you said you got your grandkids 24, 18, 15. That's good. That's real good. Times I tell people that I love and support, it's not a box of chocolate. It's more of a box of puzzle pieces. Puzzle pieces can in your life. You have to put those pieces together to find you. Mm, mm, that's right. And sometimes you invite somebody over that's good at putting puzzles together and help you put that puzzle together to help you see clearly that this is who you are and this is your purpose, right? Yeah, Miss Veronica's doing all right. I know my granddaughter, since we use puzzles as an analogy, my granddaughter is really good at putting these intricate pieces together in a puzzle. We was doing a puzzle one time and I got so confused with the pieces and I'm just like, this is supposed to go. She says, no, Nana, look at this. And it was a very intricate puzzle. And when I tell you she put the right pieces together to help me see the bigger picture, so we can use that for life as well. Amen. So this has been what you see. People gives you advice without receipts. I just hear them. I don't listen. That part. That part. You can relate to somebody that's actually went through the fire. Because how can I tell you, well, let's just use Darlene as an example. How can I tell Darlene how to have a child and what going through labor is about, what labor pains is, and how it's going to, how you're supposed to grieve if I've never experienced it. Man, she won't be trying to hear that. You're absolutely right. Mhm. So, and people are more receptive to hearing your story. People are more receptive of hearing, man, you did what and you made it through what? Oh, okay, okay. And they see themselves in that, and they can see themselves making it just like you made it through. I know it's getting kind of loud because more came out. Hmm. So, so now the poll is, what does freedom mean to you right now? 50, was it 50% says peace, 6% says starting over, 25% says health, and 12% says time. I'd say all of them for me, all of them. So, read they like 97% of the time. Lord, I try not to. Lord knows I try not to. But I do say this. It's best to tell the truth. Because one or two things can happen. It depends on what situation you're in. If you're in trouble, tell the truth can be less lenient. This attorney told me one time, his brother is always a way to tell the truth without telling the truth. He said, they said lawyers are liars anyway. Thompson Sterling, I believe the woman is the protection of the man. You was made from a rib that protects the heart and the this God has told us the unconditional love of a woman is the closest thing to God. Ooh. And let me tell you something, honey. We can speak life into our men. We can speak life. Exactly. Because when men, I think men carry the banner of being the caregiver, being the strength, being the being all of the above, and they they got so much going on, and they do need that woman to speak in their ear, pray for them, to cover them as they go out through the day to do what needs to be done to take care of their families. And when that woman is praying and in their ear, man, it's like you, it's like when you tell your kids, you can do anything, you can do it, you can do it. The mom tell the kids that, and the kids believe it. The kids, they believe it because the mama said so. The same as with the woman talking to her husband or a boyfriend. Listen, honey, I believe in you. And you can do it. Yes, you can. And it gives you that extra hump that you need. Right. Mm-hmm. Tom said, "This is another gem. A man who finds his wife findeth a good thing. If you love the Lord, you have to listen to understand." Absolutely. One of my clients, with wisdom is a woman. One of my clients was telling me, he was like, "You know what, Miss V?" He was like, "I wasn't getting it right." He said, "I wasn't, but I had to humble myself. I had to humble myself and listen to what my wife had to say." And he says, and I still have a long way to go. And he said, we're still together now because of her. And I thought that was so beautiful and powerful for him to even acknowledge that he had to listen to his wife and he didn't always get it right. And even though he was thinking everything he brought to the table was right, but his wife, and she said, and he told me, told him in a loving way, which made him more able to receive what she said. And I think we as women, and I say it all the time, have to allow our men a safe space to feel like they can to digress or say whatever they need to say without feeling condemned or feeling ashamed or embarrassed. If they want to, you know what, I just need a moment, because right now I'm not feeling, or whatever the case, we should have to make them feel like coming to us is their safe space. I am your safe space, you know, without judging. No judgment here, you know? Absolutely. Absolutely. I love you guys too. Thank you. Thank you. Women just want to listen. They don't always want to. Thank you. And I appreciate this group. I appreciate this community. I was telling my son last night, I was like, I have built a community of people to where we really support one another, and I absolutely love it. I said, no, I'm not perfect, but it ain't about being perfect. It's about showing up. And my son said he was so proud of me because I was telling him, I was like, there's so many other people that have or that's going through what I've been through, or is at a point in their life to where they feel like, or they're thinking they're too old, they're never gonna find this person. But I said, just by sharing my story, my journey, is helping them to say, you know what, my life don't end at this at 55 and being divorced. My life don't end at this because I'm single. My life don't end. It's just beginning. It's just a new chapter. Thank you for Shala. Tom says, I believe purpose is a direction for a man to be successful. I am so glad I am a handy with my hands. The woman is the healer and the man is the fixer. We are different, but we should always come together. That's like a puzzle. I believe we're just like a puzzle. To, you're the fixer, we're the healer. Let's bring it together. Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, guys, we have been on here for almost an hour. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you. Enjoy your hot dog. My grandson said hot dog. Enjoy your hot dog and your hamburgers today. Your potato salad. If you're gonna have some potato salad. And yeah, I love you guys. And enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be blessed.